We are going to get started with our last webinar or voting and advocacy presentation for this year, 2022. Please stand by. We're going to do some housekeeping now. The main thing is to be aware of whether your microphone is muted during the presentation, just so we don't get as much background noise. For anybody who is called in by phone, you can mute and unmute by pressing *6. The chat box can be shown and hidden by pressing on the comment balloon icon, which is next to the hand icon on computers and some tablets. On a computer or tablet, you can click on the hand icon to raise or lower your hand virtually. On phones, you can press *5 to raise your hand and to lower it. There's live closed captioning in English only available through the 3-dot menu on the icon menu bar. We do have a ASL sign language interpreter for this presentation. If you click on the red phone icon, you'll be disconnected from the webinar. Please sign in again and return to the webinar. This presentation is being recorded. By participating in it, you will be consenting to being recorded. During the presentation and at the end of the presentation, please use the chat box to ask questions and provide comments. At the end of the presentations, we'll be taking comments from participants on the phone as well. We will now go to the webinar. This webinar is about an hour in length. Thanks for attending. Jordy will now introduce himself and welcome you to today's webinar.
Hi, everybody. I'd like to first welcome you to Your Vote Matters. Voting is Advocacy. I'm Jordy. I was a former certified peer support specialist and a community health worker. And now I work for OCHN, Oakland Community Health Network, as a customer service specialist. And I'm here to let you know your vote matters and that it's a great way to advocate for yourself. First off, who is OCHN? Oakland Community Health Network provides services for adults and children with intellectual and developmental disabilities, mental health concerns, and substance use disorders. Its mission is to inspire hope, empower people, and strengthen communities. Also, who is this webinar for? This presentation is for everybody and anybody who has or doesn't have a disability and is interested in voting and in advocating for themselves and others. So the who is you, no matter who you are. On the next slide, we'll talk about some of the whys of voting. So why vote? Well, voting is an important part of advocacy. It's not just letters and calling legislators. Everyone's vote counts, and your votes add up. Advocacy is defined as the act or process of supporting a cause or proposal for something or someone. It's a form of problem solving, finding the best way to improve a situation. It protects the rights of people to receive fair, equal, and humane treatment. It improves services, eligibility for services, and enhances service quality. And it ensures adequate funding is made available for valuable services that improve the lives of individuals with disabilities. So who is an advocate? An advocate is a person who supports and champions for a cause or policy, a person who works for a cause or group, a person who argues for the cause of another person in a court of law. We are all advocates. Advocates influence public policy as well as laws and budgets. Advocates use facts to build relationships with and educate government officials and community members on important public issues. And they initiate positive change for themselves, their family, and their community. Now, here's some important information to understand about elections. This includes the following: knowing the difference between national and state elections, knowing the candidates who are running for Michigan governor, knowing who is running for the Senate and who is running for the House, understanding pending proposals of interest, redistricting laws, and how Michigan's legislature works. This slide includes a link to the Michigan U.S. congressional districts as of February 2022, and you can find that at zipdatamaps.com. That's ZIPDATAMAPS.com. For those of you joining us through your computer, the link will be added to the chat. Now, you see that thumbs up icon? That thumbs up icon after your vote in this slide is like the like in Facebook, but it's much more important than liking a post or a meme or an article. Your vote is your voice. So not only is it a thumbs up, but it also makes a big difference to your neighbors, your community, and in society. And now we will hear from Amit.
Hi, my name is Ahmed. I'm a trainer here at OCHM. I have a disability. I vote to ensure that my voice is heard on issues that are important to me. And I hope you do the same this November. Take care.
Yes, thank you so much, Amit. And now Betty will introduce herself and speak more about advocacy.
Hello, my name is Betty Ruiz. I'm an advocate, author of 3 books, and a member of Easter Seals now for 21 years. Today, I will be providing you with tips on how to advocate. First of all, know the facts. To gain and maintain credibility, it is critical that you have all the facts on both sides of any issue. Having this information at your fingertips will help you in conversations with government officials, the media, other advocates, and the general public. Use the facts. Any position you take should be grounded in the facts. It is often helpful to put your facts into a one-page sheet you can distribute. More advocacy tips, or have a clear and concise message. Government officials and the press and the general public do not have time for long conversations or documents. Try not to use acronyms so that everyone understands the issues you are discussing. Nurture relationships. Advocacy is a joint venture. Find your allies and work with them to achieve your advocacy goals. Your chances of success are much greater when there are large numbers of organizations and people on your side. Now we are going to hear from Amy.
Okay, hi everybody. It is your constitutional right, whether you're disabled or not. Just vote. It's your right. You have every right in the world to vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Now we will cover some important things you need to know to vote. The United States Constitution guarantees every citizen age 18 or older the right to vote. Why vote? It's your right. Regardless of who you are, you make a difference. It's important to advocate for yourself. You can influence change and make a positive difference. Your voice matters, your vote counts. You have a role as an advocate for yourself, so make your voice heard. We will now look at your rights as a voter. The United States and state of Michigan Constitution guarantees every U.S. citizen age 18 or older the right to vote. Whether you vote at the polls or by absentee ballot, voting is a right. If you want the candidate of your choice to win the election, it is important that you vote and make your voice heard. Many people with disabilities do not vote. They want to vote, but many are afraid because of challenges they may face, such as resources, and because special accommodations are needed. Because of state and federal laws, polling places have to be ADA compliant to accommodate people who are disabled. The polling place may have extra wide doorways, ramps or steps, and extra lighting. The voting station may also be expandable or provide a place for people to sit down while voting. Also, there are special machines at the polling place designed to be used by persons with disabilities. This can include an automark machine like the Hard Touch Writer or the Dominion voting machine. These machines provide privacy, have a large screen, headphones, and a ballot marker. We will talk more about these machines later in the webinar. Don't hesitate to let the election worker know if you need to use one of these machines. Election workers are there to help you. If you are blind, if you have a disability, or if you are unable to read or write, you can have a person of your choice to assist you at the polls. This person can be anyone except your employer or employer agent or an officer or agent of a union that you belong to. Also, because of COVID 19, hand sanitizer will be available to help keep you safe. If you do require assistance at the polls, you may request help in advance by notifying the clerk's office. You can locate your clerk's office on one of the voting websites that we will discuss later in this training. Residents who are deaf or hard of hearing can direct questions they might have to the Department of State's Bureau of Election. The email address for that department is elections, that's ELECTIONS at Michigan, MICAIGAN .gov, GOV. Please don't hesitate to vote. Your vote matters and your voice counts. These are some advocates being advocates for people who know.
Self-advocacy means to speak up.
Speaking up for your rights, no matter what the issue or the concern is.
To speak for oneself and speak for others.
If I have my own voice, I'll speak up for myself.
Standing up for your rights and not relying on staff or your support staff to make decisions for you.
The ability to be independent, live your life to its fullest extent.
We took issues like the will work, will pay.
Be persistent in what you want.
When you got control of your life, of your everyday affairs.
Means given the ability to have choices in my life.
It's not just about information sharing, it's about being in the community.
I worked really hard in the community because of my unique disability to get the word out that people like us should be in the community.
Speaking up for yourself, but also taking responsibility for your things.
Being able to know what you want and then being able to go for it and having somebody else that believes in it, that's able to help you.
I'm gonna fight for those that are like me, or it don't matter. It's just I just don't like people taking advantage of.
They want to get the word out that they want something out of life.
As much as everybody tries to help people with various kinds of disabilities, we're the ones who really know what we need.
For years, the voices of people with intellectual disability were never heard. Decisions were made for them.
If it doesn't come from us, it comes from people who don't have an intellectual disability and they don't actually have the experience to talk about it.
The professionals need to listen to us more because they don't know as well as we do what we want in it.
Other people will decide what you will do. If you are not at the table, you don't know what those people are going to decide.
A part of being an advocate is to get out there and start networking.
And if you don't know how to do that, you should go and ask a self-advocate person that knows how to do it, and they'll help you.
There's tons of barriers out there, but attitudinal barriers are the biggest, I think.
The biggest thing is being included in the community with society and its inclusion within college, school.
We came out here to learn from y'all anyway, and that's what we want people to understand. Well, we need help and all that from y'all. That's what we want.
I like to be out, helping people, and to teach people.
I learned to speak up, and not be ashamed of who I am.
Just like the civil rights movement before us, we try to do things to help people speak out for what they want and do what they believe in.
We just wanted to let everybody know just because you have a disability doesn't mean you're less than, or you don't know, or you're not committed to something.
We need a voice. We need to get people to listen.
It's really important that we speak up and tell people what is wrong in this world, and so that we can make it better and we can make a change.
No matter who you are, you have a right to vote and advocate for yourself. You might ask yourself, how easy is it to vote? I'm here to tell you it's nothing to be nervous about. Whether you vote at the polls or by absentee ballot, voting is an easy process. Just remember to mail in your ballot on time and keep in mind that election workers are always at the polling place to help you through the voting process. The candidate of the most important thing for you to know is who you want to vote for, the candidate of your choice. Please remember that to vote is your right, so do exercise it in the upcoming November 8th election. Now we will hear from Deborah to tell you more about how to vote and the importance of local elections.
Hi, I'm Deborah, and I am an, a recipient of the Easter Seals, Michigan Pontiac Division, and I'm also an advisory council there. I am on the empowerment team at OCHN, and I would like to now talk about local elections. Local elections have been known to have a low voter turnout. This is alarming as legislation and local officials are determined through these elections. Local elections are important as being involved in local politics can help individuals to become more politically active in their area. This can be done through voting, as well as getting to know your local officials to discuss topics you are passionate about. Some types of local legislation that are driven through voting include funding, such as the public school system, infrastructure, and if the mental health system is public or private. Priv- Privatization of the mental health system has been proposed by Michigan State Majority Leader Mike Shirkey. Senate Bills 597 and 598 will privatize all Medicaid mental health services, leading to profit focused insurance companies having full financial control. A new poll has found that two-thirds of Michiganders oppose the bill, as it would decrease mental health services for those who need it most. Michigan's public mental health system has a long history of high performance, tailored to individuals and families being served through the mental health system. Voting also determines local officials, such as judges, district attorneys, and members of the Board of Education. As you can see, local elections impact everyday lives, so it is crucial to vote and voice what you feel most strongly about. These are some helpful voting resources for you. State of Michigan website, michigan.gov/VOTE. You can find your local clerk and polling location, as well as watching videos about voting equipment, how to register, and much more. Oakland County Clerk, www.oakland.com/CLERKROD. You can register to vote and find your polling location. It is located at 1200 North Telegraph Road, Building 12, East Pontiac, Michigan, 48341. And its phone number is 1-888-350-0900. That is 1-888-350-0900. League of Women Voters of Michigan, www.lwvmi.org. You can educate yourself about important voting issues and learn more about voting. These resources can help answer individualized questions like, am I actually registered to vote at my current address? Who is my city township clerk? What is their phone number and where is their office? Where is my polling location? What do I need to register to vote? How can I request an absentee voter's ballot application? The links to these resources are on the OCHN website under voting resources. Requirements for being able to register to vote in Michigan are: you need to be a Michigan resident at the time you register, be a resident of the city or township for at least 30 days by the time you vote, be a U.S. citizen and at least 18 years of age by the time you vote. Additionally, you must be currently serving us if must not be currently serving a sentence in jail or prison. However, a person waiting arraignment and not yet convicted of a crime can vote by absentee ballot. Felons in Michigan can also vote once they have served their sentence. Only Kentucky and Iowa do not restore the voting rights of felons. If you meet all the requirements to register to vote, you can then register in a variety of ways. You are automatically registered to vote when you renew your driver's license or state ID at the Secretary of State office. You can also register online using the website resources listed on the previous slide or on the OCHN website. You can register at the Oakland County Clerk's office in Pontiac, and you can always register to vote at your local city or township clerk's office. You can find out the contact information on your local city or township clerk using the website resources listed on the previous slide or on the OCHM website. A question you may have had is, what do you if you are moving at the time of the election? You can vote at your previous polling place one last time, or by planning ahead, you can put in an application to vote using the absentee ballot. I will be reviewing absentee voting on the next slide. All eligible and registered voters in Michigan may request an absentee voter ballot. There is an application of request for the absentee ballot, which is different from the absentee ballot itself. Request to have an absentee voter ballot mailed to you must be received by your clerk no later than 5 p.m. the Friday before the election. The Friday before November the 8th is November the 4th. You can register and apply for an absentee voter ballot at the same time. After receiving your absentee voter ballot, you have until 8 p.m. on election day to complete the ballot and return it to the clerk's office. Now we will go over the voting process. First, you mark your ballot. You can get assistance with this either from a person or by assistive technology. Second, you place your completed ballot in the secrecy envelope. Absentee voters use an absentee voter envelope. Third, you return the ballot to the designated person by inserting it into the counting machine. Absentee voters return their ballot to the clerk's office in person or by mail. If you mail it, make sure to include any extra postage required for the ballot. And finally, congratulate yourself. Be proud. You have just voted and made your voice heard. As mentioned before, voting assistance is valuable. There are people at the polls to help you vote if you request it. Also, there are ballot marking systems that enable you to vote independently. Now we will hear from Ahmet on using assistive technology to vote.
My name is Ahmed. I'm a trainer with OCHN, and I use a piece of assistive technology that's available at your local polling place that reads the ballot to me and marks my choices. So that's how I vote with a disability. I hope you exercise your right to vote this November. Thanks. Take care.
Thank you, Ahmed. Now Mark will introduce himself and tell you more about voter assist terminals.
Hi, my name is Mark Jones, and I work at OCHN in the customer service department. I am someone who's been working in the mental health field for nearly 35 years while living with a serious mental illness. I've been voting in elections even longer than that. Um, Voter assist terminals, they are available for people to assist them for them to be able to vote independently. So they have privacy and have accessibility when they have certain disabilities. Oakland County polling place uses the Heart Touch Writer. Please tell an election worker if you need to use a voter assist terminal. Every polling place should have one, so you shouldn't have to worry about one being there. If you vote in another county, you may use a different voter assist terminal, like the Dominion or the ES&S. You can find out information about voter assist terminals on the Michigan Voters Information Center. That's mvic.sos.state.mi.us, or you can Google MVIC and then click on Michigan Voter Information Center. And there's a lot of information that we've covered in this webinar. We are in the home stretch of the election season, or in that we have the election coming up on November 8th. And the last day to register is this upcoming Tuesday on October 24th, 2022. You can register after that date at the city clerk or township clerk, but to register online or at the Secretary of State or any other way, you have to register by October 24th. And that's particularly important if you have moved recently and you don't know whether you're registered. You can check to see if you're registered online at the Michigan Voter Information Center. You can always register in person with proof of residency, like with your state ID or with your driver's license. And you just have to go to the city clerk and show them your ID, and then they would give you the ballot, and you would fill out the ballot. If you do, you can vote early if you do it before 24 hours beforehand. You can go through and take the ballot home, but you have to bring the same ballot back and turn it into the clerk's office. The same is true, like if you get an absentee ballot, you have to turn in that absentee ballot, or if you spoil it, meaning that if you decide not to vote the way you did on the absentee ballot, or you're not going to use an absentee ballot, you have to notify the clerk so they can cancel that ballot out and let you use one at the polls. Registration deadlines, like we already said, is October 24th, 2022, for if you're not going to be doing it in person or at a local township clerk. That's 14 days prior to the election. We have a video that is from 2020 election, but the information in it still pertains to this upcoming election. So we will play that video for you. On the OCHN website, we will have voting research and resources. The way you get to it is by going to www.oakland, OAKLAND, and then you would mouse over where it's highlighted yellow, resources, and you'll get a drop-down menu, and you can see where it's highlighted voting research and resources. When you click on that, you get another screen with a list of resources. There's probably the most important resources to remember is that Michigan Voter Information Center, or in that it answers a lot of questions. You can get to that on your phone or on a computer or on a tablet. and it can let you know whether you're registered. It can tell you how to register. With it coming up on the 24th, if you are going to register, please do before the 24th. There's also the League of Women Voters, which will give you a good idea of what your ballot is. You can go to that and it will basically lead you to vote411.org. And that resource lists all the candidates and the ballot proposals, and it gives you the research. You can do the research that you need in order to fill out your ballot. That concludes our webinar. Right? If you have some questions, you can contact me or Jordy at the customer service line at 1-800-341-2003 and ask for Mark or ask for Jordy. Just we're listing those voting resources again for you, and that you can Google MVIC, and you can access that from computer and smartphones, or you can do the League of Women Voters, which is you can Google Vote 411 to get that information. And also the Oakland County Clerk, you can call them at 1-888-350-0900. With those resources, you can find out where your city clerk is and what their phone number is. So if you have more questions, you can call them up and ask. So thank you very much for participating in the webinar. If there's any questions, I will field them now. Do we see any questions? I don't believe so. So thank you for attending.